esports in the game.
All right, guys. It's about to go down. SANDMAN versus Douglas Regime. And yeah, it's about time to kick off. Okay, guys, we active for the first leg of the round of 16 tie, SANDMAN versus Douglas Regime. SANDMAN kicks off from left to right. The game begins. Vinicius Jr. on the ball. George Best finds Phil Foden. George, what? How did that go in? SANDMAN draws first blood here, scores the first goal of the tie in 10 minutes. What a goal. Shocked about that one. SANDMAN currently leading the tie by 1-0. Douglas Regime, he needs to wake up because it's, game needs to live up to expectations, but we expect a cracker here. And here's Roy Keane on the ball, finds Frank Ribery. Ahmad, what a fiam by him, what a goal. What a goal. Fiam the new way in the FC Mobile community. What a goal. 1-1 by Douglas Regime. SANDMAN on the ball. What a cross. What a goal. 2-1. This is going to be a flurry of goals, guys. Gonna be a flurry of goals. SANDMAN currently, this is who scores the most. Douglas looking for space, finds Vinicius Jr., finds Frank Ribery, turns, gives it to Roy Keane, who finds Amad Diallo. Ribery finding some space. This is gonna get it. Makalele turns, finds Johan Cruyff, Elastico. Couldn't beat his man with the Elastico. And now SANDMAN on the attack again. We know how dangerous he is when he's on the attack. Vinicius Jr. to Hazard. Hazard on the ball. What's going to happen here is Eden Hazard. Ooh, that was abysmal by SANDMAN. Abysmal by Hazard. But then he has a corner to reatone for his mistake. And is he going to do that? Eden Hazard. Shouldn't have lane change there. Should have just shot the ball. But so far, SANDMAN leading the tie 2-1 in the first half of the first leg. Douglas Regime brings in Rafinha into the fray, and we know what time it is. It's time to fiam all the way. Roy Keane on the ball. George Best couldn't control it, but that was a poor pass by Roy Keane. His passing ability isn't as good as it's actually good in the game, as we all know. Nuno Mendes finds Joaquin. Both players has Joaquin on each end, and normally we see best Vinicius, Rafinha on both teams, but now we're seeing Joaquin. Vinicius tried to use the first touch to beat his marker, couldn't do that. George Best, nice game. What a save by Thibaut Courtois. We know how he's a menace in the game. I'm not surprised by that save. That was an easy save for him, if you ask me. It was a good save. Chiellini, nice header, nice goal. SANDMAN stretching his lead by 2 goals now, leading by 3 goals to 1. Douglas has to score the next goal if he's going to be in the tie, because if SANDMAN scores again, I think it's game, set, match. Hazard on the ball. SANDMAN so far has been the better player, keeping possession, mounting pressures. Collected. Now SANDMAN got the ball. I see what people are doing here, using Lilian Thuram as the defensive midfielder. Seems to pay dividends. Dembele on the ball. Vinicius Jr. SANDMAN tries to find a pass, couldn't get it. Douglas needs a goal so bad in this game. George Best finds Rafinha. Nice pass to Best. Chiellini, who's currently the goal scorer, wins the ball. SANDMAN on the attack again. Nice dribble by Dembele. Beats his marker, Makalele. Hazard on the ball, fiams away. Yes, Eden Hazard finds Nuno Mensch. Nuno Mensch, dispossessed by Zambrotta. Gareth Bale, not a good player in the game currently. Yes, Rafinha tries to find space to run. George Best finds Johan Cruyff. What's he going to do with the ball? Loses the ball, but he has a throw-in. Here's Makalele on the ball. Here's Rafinha. Here's Cruyff. Douglas needs a goal so bad in the game. George Best tries to lane change. SANDMAN with a hard tackle there by Lilian Thuram. I don't know why I keep calling his son, but then we all know both Thurams are very good footballers. First leg of the tie, SANDMAN led it by 3 goals to 1. Obviously, he kept the ball more, had more possession, had more attacks, had more pressures on the ball and off the ball, and he paid dividends. SANDMAN 3, Douglas regime 1. We go straight into the second leg, guys. Drop your predictions for the second leg. Who do you think is gonna be victorious in the second leg? What do you think the result is gonna be? Drop it in the comment section, and if you win, drop your proof on the group chat and get your prize, like I always say. So far, no one is good at that. Second leg of the tie, SANDMAN versus Douglas regime, the 10 and 80 ESPORTS tournament, round of 16. Winner goes straight into the last 8, and that also makes him a winner in the tournament. Top 8, you know, from the top 8 you get your rewards, like I always say. Douglas regime kicks us off. He needs to go all out in the second leg. Let's see what's going to do. Gareth Bale isn't a good player. I don't know why people keep using him. I mean, I use him too because of his name, but unfortunately, he isn't living up to his. Amad Diallo, nice opportunity by him, but he couldn't take his chance. But it was a very good defending by SANDMAN. Eden Hazard on the ball tries to beat his marker, ran into the throwing to the touchline. Makalele finds Johan Cruyff, who finds Amad Diallo, tries to beat his marker, but Roy Keane, the pundits, did great. Phil Foden, who has actually not been shown in the game. Ribery, I don't know why do players always try to lane change when they have a clear chance to shoot, a clear chance to finesse. He tries to lane change and he loses the ball again. Players should learn from that. You don't have to lane change before you shoot. Sometimes when you lane change, you lose possession, but then when you shoot, you actually get a goal. Roy Keane on the ball finds Frank Ribery. Like I said, Douglas needs to score the next 2 goals in this tie if he's going to have a chance. But here's Vinicius Jr. Is he going to beat Zambrotta? I think he's going to lane change again. Of course he does, and he hits the ball. But I think there was a push by the defender which actually made Vinicius off balance and made the ball go over the bar. Because without that little push by the defender, that should be a goal. But nice attempt by Douglas regime. It should have more of that. And he shouldn't allow Sandman to score, because if Sandman scores, I think that's the end. Phil Foden on the ball, finds Vitinha. Dispossessed by Roy Keane. Vinicius Jr. on the ball. Is he going to beat Marcus Lilian Thuram? There's a space there. Amad Diallo. Of course, Nuno Mendes read the pass. Dispossessed Amad Diallo. And now Sandman on the attack. George Best beats Thuram, of course. George Best. Nah, game, set, match. Douglas should just go home. At this point, there's no point playing the second half. Douglas should just go home right now. 3 goals, lead by SANDMAN. Remember, he won the first leg 3-1. Now he's winning the second leg by 1-0. Aggregate currently is 4-1. I don't see Douglas regime coming back from this game. Knowing how good SANDMAN is defensively and all round in the game, I don't see Douglas coming back into this game in 45 minutes, but let's see what's going to happen. But I feel SANDMAN is going to score more goals. Douglas should get a goal or 2. But time will tell. SANDMAN tries to beat 3 defenders at once. Oh, I think Douglas has... Oh, I thought that was a network, but game on. George Best on the ball. Douglas needs to find a good pass. George Best dispossessed by Gianluca Zambrotta. Here's Giorgio Chiellini to Nuno Mensch, to Eden Hazard, to Roy Keane. Roy Keane, nice dribble, nice body movement. Here's Vitinha. Here's Vinicius Jr. Tries to find Ousmane Dembele, but dispossessed. Here's Keane. Here's Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner. Is going to win it this year? Time will tell. Champions League will tell. World Cup will tell. But for now, Fiam is telling with Douglas Regime on the ball. But what a save by Donnarumma. Rafinha, that's a poor touch. That's a poor touch by Rafinha. George Best on the ball. George Best on the ball. George Best has a very good speed in the game. Tries to beat Makalele, but we know how good he is. Tackling-wise, rather. Rafinha tries to find George Best, to no avail. Vinicius Jr. SANDMAN right now is just containing the game. Vinicius Jr. on the ball. He might actually score with this opportunity. I think he's going to find the pass. Is he going to... Ooh, beats the keeper. Oh, that was nasty. Bela Vini, Bela Brazil. Actually, that was a golazo. Goal. Nice goal by SANDMAN. Shows us he calls himself the old taker, but I think he's the current taker. He's old, he's new, aging like fine wine. What a player SANDMAN is. First leg ended 3-1, second leg ended 2-0. 4 goals difference from both legs. SANDMAN whitewashing Douglas regime like he was never there. Douglas, actually his regime didn't follow him to this game because SANDMAN washed it away with sand and took his regime away from him. SANDMAN, the old taker, but I like to call him the big dog, winning on aggregate by 5-1. SANDMAN progresses to the quarterfinal, which also makes him a winner, like I always say. Good game from both teams. Quarterfinals are from Fridays the next week. Stay tuned. We'll keep you live with more updates. Good game from both sides, and good night.